You know that feeling when you see a really flashy, expensive car drive by? We've all been there. But here's the thing. What we're actually thinking in that moment and what the driver hopes we're thinking are almost always two totally different things. Today we're going to unpack a really fascinating little mind bender called the man in the car paradox. All right, let's just get right to it. Be honest with yourself for a second. When you see someone pull up in a brand new Ferrari, what's your gut reaction? Do you think, wow, that person driving must be amazing? Or is it something else? Just hang on to that thought for a minute.
So, where does this whole idea even come from? Well, it wasn't born in some stuffy research lab. The story actually starts in a pretty surprising place, the driveway of a super high-end hotel.
Yeah, so the person who first articulated this concept used to work as a valet in Los Angeles. I mean, can you imagine? His job was literally to be around and drive the most expensive cars you can think of, day in, day out. And the assumption, the one we'd all probably make, is that when you're behind the wheel of a Rolls Royce, people are looking at you. They must think you're important, you're cool, you're respected, right? Well, turns out that assumption was about to get completely flipped on its head. Because after a while, after parking countless supercars, he started to notice a pattern, something that was totally counterintuitive, and it went against the very reason people buy these things in the first place. And here's the absolute kicker. The owner who dropped a fortune on that car is driving around thinking, everyone sees me, they see my success. But that's just not what's happening on the street. Not at all. This is the huge disconnect. The driver's goal is crystal clear. Look at me, admire me. But the person on the sidewalk, their brain goes somewhere else entirely. They don't think, wow, what a cool person. They think, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. See what happens? The driver is completely bypassed in the equation. They become invisible. And this is the core of it right here. People are impressed by the car, not the person driving it. The driver just becomes a sort of placeholder, an invisible mannequin that allows the observer to daydream. The admiration is for the object, and we immediately use that object as a prop in our own mental movie about how great our life could be. So this whole weird, ironic phenomenon where trying to get people to admire you just makes them think about themselves, well, it actually has a name. It's been formalized into a concept we can all use. And here it is, the man in the car paradox. It's the simple, profound irony that when you try to buy admiration with things, it backfires. People don't admire you. They just use your fancy stuff as a new measuring stick for their own wants, for the admiration that they want to get. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? That Ferrari driving by doesn't make us respect the driver. It just becomes another benchmark in our own heads for our own desires. The signal the driver wanted to send gets totally hijacked and rerouted to our own ego. Okay, so if spending a ton of money on flashy stuff is a bad strategy for earning genuine respect, what actually works? Where does real admiration even come from? Well, the first thing we have to do is just accept this. Trying to buy respect with material things is a game you just can't win. It's a losing battle because you're playing on a field where everyone else is the main character of their own story, not you. And this right here is the answer. This is the big takeaway from all of this. The things that truly make people respect and admire you, the person, have absolutely nothing to do with what you own. Humility, kindness, empathy. Those things will earn you more genuine respect than a 12-cylinder engine ever could. Horsepower might get attention, but kindness is what earns respect. You know, thinking about this paradox really opens the door to an even bigger, more powerful idea. If the wealth you show doesn't get you what you want, it suggests that maybe true wealth isn't about the car you drive. Maybe it's about the assets you didn't spend, the wealth that nobody ever sees. So let's end with a question for you to think about. We all own things, and those things are constantly sending signals to the world around us. But after learning about this paradox, it's worth taking a second to ask yourself, is the signal you think you're sending the one that people are actually receiving?